much, Mr. Category. So representing our hosts here in Paris, I'd like to invite our founder of Sciences Paris and the ICUS correspondent for Europe, Mr. Didier Guignard, is going to share some thoughts for us. Thank you very much. Please welcome.
So, I wish you welcome to Europe, especially here in Paris, in the heart of France. This building, la Maison des Polytechniciens, the House of Polytechnicians, is very symbolic of the French intellectual elite. The Polytechnic School was founded by Napoleon and was originally a military school that trained generations of engineers and has become over time the most prestigious engineering school in France. And many of its former students have become scientists, industrialists, business leaders, or even politicians. So, and the house existed even longer before, and it was created in the time of Henry IV, so quite old time, in the 17th century, and was used many years for arts exhibitions. So we are here gathering both the artistic side and the scientific side. Now, I would like to say a few words about Europe's role in the development of arts and science and the challenges that lie ahead, particularly in the scientific field. Europe is the cradle of modern science. What means modern science? This is the science that was born with people like Galileo, Newton, and Copernicus. This was done in parallel with the Renaissance, creating a new age with a profound renewal of the arts, literature, and philosophy. And this is the moment when science began to fly on its own, clearly detaching itself from philosophy and religion, creating its own validation criteria. Even today, science is still based on the same pillars. One is rational and the other experimental. Any scientific explanation must be logical, rational, and consistent. But it must also be confirmed by experience. In other words, any theory must be falsifiable or refutable. These elements are still the basis of scientific materialism. From then until the 20th century, science and religion were considered as dealing with entirely different fields. But they didn't prevent resistance from arising, starting with Galileo's problem with papacy, as you know, or later the difficulties created by Darwin's theory. During this period, most of the great scientists were European. Unfortunately, national barriers meant that instead of cooperating and working together, many great scientists were the victims and sometimes even the actors of the national rivalries. This was the case between the French chemist Louis Pasteur and the German physician Robert Koch. The mathematician Henri Poincaré was also a victim because he was the first to express the formula E equals mc squared in 1900, and this formula was attributed, however, to Einstein. This was due to German-French rivalry. Well, returning to the issue between science and religion, after the two great scientific revolutions that were the theory of relativity and quantum physics, it is no longer possible to have a clear barrier between science and spirituality. A modern philosopher can no longer ignore the discoveries of today's science and its philosophical consequences. And a modern scientist can no longer ignore spiritual and philosophical concepts, whatever his field of activity is. The physicist, for example, must ask himself what the origin of the universe is. The biologist must reflect on the fundamental nature of life. And the neuroscientist must investigate whether the mind is a simple emanation of the brain. scientists have replaced the god of the gaps with the god of chance. Born in the 19th century with Darwin and thermodynamics. But with the advancements of mathematics, statistics, and computer science, this god of chance will no longer last long. We need new paradigms capable of including the spiritual and the scientific side in their explanations. I would like to conclude this presentation with some suggestions for overcoming the challenges of modern science. Since antiquity, there has been a philosophical quarrel over the notion of being and becoming. Until the 19th century, science followed the path of Parmenides and was based on a completely deterministic and conservative physics. But nowadays, scientists like Ilya Prigogine, Nobel Prize winner in chemistry, have placed more emphasis on indeterminism, randomness, and irreversibility, thus placing themselves more in line with the philosopher Heraclitus. For me, the world in which we live is a subtle mixture of these two options, which I consider to be complementary and not opposed. The conservative option is found in particular in gravitation, that keeps us firmly on the ground of Earth, as well as the water and the oceans and the air of our atmosphere. The notion of verticality introduced by gravitation can be generalized to the concept of order and hierarchy that govern many relationships, such as parent-child relationship or that of mind and body. On the other hand, electromagnetism provides a large part of the dynamics and evolution of things. We can talk about horizontal relationships that will allow creativity and diversity. They are all yang and yin relationships. It is the subtle balance between these two types of interaction that has brought our universe to what it is today, with the appearance of star, planet, life, and human beings. This brings me to a final area of work for science. Today, based on the so-called principle of the objectivity of nature, science rejects the notion of finality. But if this point of view is not too embarrassing for physicists, it becomes problematic for a biologist and even more for a neuroscientist. I believe that science will sooner or later have to abandon this premise. I hope I have been clear enough. I may have been too concise, but I remain at your disposal during this day for anyone who would like to discuss the subject that I have dealt with here very briefly. It remains for me to wish you a good symposium, rich in both presentations and debates, which will allow us to move forward on the path of a fundamental understanding of the universe in which we live and the profound meaning of our existence.